Good morning, guys. Just a little chit chat this morning. Give everybody a few minutes to come in. Rather disappointing news yesterday, or goings on, happenings, whatever you want to call it. But just more confirmation to me as to where we're heading, what's going on, things that are happening. Who's in there? Give me a 5x5. Sound and video. I never know if this thing's working or not. Hey, Metal, how's it going, man? Yeah, after a little incident yesterday, I figured I'd get on and have a chit chat this morning. Thank you, sir. Kind of disappointed in it, but ain't actually a lot that we can do with the goings on. We're just kind of along for the ride, I say. But took the kids to the doctor yesterday for the annual checkup. Everybody's well and healthy, and we're thankful for that, but we go, to the yearly thing. And this is our pediatrician doctor that we've used for the better part of the girl's life, at least 10 years probably. I don't know, they were probably a couple of years old before we started going over there, but it's the doctor that has seen our kids pretty much their entire life. And through all the goings on of the many years that we've been going over there, I'm sure the doctor has gotten some kind of idea or reading on what kind of person I am. I mean, I go into the doctor's office armed, and I look pretty country, just the way I dress and talk and act. So, most people get a pretty good, quick read off of me just by looking. But in all the goings on that happened through COVID and the past, 4 or 5 years, the doctor has always not pressed vaccines on us, but, they always ask, offer. And of course, we always decline. Sugar, what are you doing? Get out of the camera. I personally haven't had any vaccine shots for probably 45 years. I don't take flu shots or none of that kind of stuff. But during our little checkup yesterday, of course, every year, I guess for school kids, it's been years since I've been in school, and it's been years since our kids have been in school because we homeschool. But they always offer the vaccines, and I guess they are required for public school. Of course, she offered, and it was the nurse's assistant at first, and I cordially declined, which made her ask twice because she was not expecting that answer, but, I simply told her no shots. And I think there were probably 3 or 4 that they wanted to give them. But I said no shots, and of course, she wrote it down on her piece of paper and walked out. Said the doctor would be in a few minutes. Well, a few minutes comes along, and here comes the doctor. Looking them over, all good, blah blah blah. And she says, "I see here on the paper y'all didn't want to get the vaccines." And I said, "No. It's kind of the same story as it's always been. We don't want to give them any shots." Well, she commences in on her story. "Hey, Deb, do we have questions about the vaccines, or is there some reason why we don't want to give them to her?" Or, I simply straight out told her I don't trust Big Pharma. And pretty much for the last goings on, I don't trust the doctors that push Big Pharma on you. And her response was, "Well, I don't think I can provide your kids any further service." As in, basically, I don't want to have your kids as patients any longer if you don't want us to give them the vaccine. She said, "It's my duty to provide the best quality possible care for your kids, which includes vaccines." So me and Ann, looked at each other, and within just a matter of seconds said, "Okay, well, we understand. It looks like we'll have to find another provider for our children." Now, maybe it's just me reading it wrong, but I just see that as another way the government or Big Pharma or, whoever you want to call them, New World Order, blah, 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 them, are forcing this on to people. Hey, Stans. Again, my kids don't go to public school, so I don't know, but it was all of them, Deb, not just the COVID vaccine. I think the ones that they wanted to give them yesterday were the HPV, which, my girls are 11 years old, so I'm really not worried about HPV right now. And a tetanus, and I believe there was one more, not a flu, but some kind of, I don't know what it is. But it was several vaccines, but not specifically the COVID. But, I hear they're putting that COVID in all of the vaccines anyway, so. But, again, maybe it's just me reading it wrong, but I see it as a way that the powers that be are forcing vaccines in particular onto people. And again, I don't know how it is for public school. Maybe, Deb, you can answer that. Is it mandatory or required that kids have all of their vaccines to go to public school? That was one question the assistant asked when we left, is did we need any papers, school papers to show their vaccine records? I told her no, they're homeschooled. They don't have public school vaccine records, but our doctors are refusing to give kids, care because they're not vaccinated. Is that not a forceful way to make parents vaccinate their kids? That's exactly how I see it. Well, apparently she didn't care about any loopholes, Deb. Basically, if we weren't going to give our kids the shots, she didn't want to see them anymore. And it's actually been a really good pediatrics doctor. I mean, which I don't think it will be a problem. Anne has primary care physicians that I'm sure the girls can go see. But it really burned me the wrong way and kind of showed me exactly what kind of doctor that was. Yeah, and you can call them doctors or physicians or whatever legal term. I don't need a doctor, I need a healer. I need someone that's practicing medicine for the best therapy for me or my kids, not pushing big pharma, onto us. And I didn't get into the debate about, the moral and ethical decision to choose to put those things into your body when you know there could be problems. I mean, we all heard of the side effects and everything going on with them. So for a doctor to push that onto your kids, and you can go down that rabbit hole as far as you want. I mean, it can be the sterilization or the heavy metals or that's big heli flying over. Which to me, all of the specifics really don't matter. If any percentage of those accusations are correct, I don't want it. It's that simple. And I damn sure don't want to put it into my kids. If you can't respect that decision as a physician, especially since my kids are healthy, I'd just rather not have you as a physician. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm going off the deep end there. It should be our choice whether or not we choose to do that. And again, I just see it as one way the government forcing something upon you. What about everything else going on? Hey, Mr. Smith. Well, thanks, Alicia. Me and Ann are pretty much in agreement on it, and we come from two totally different backgrounds. Like I said, I probably hadn't had a vaccine shot in 45 years. But Ann, coming from France, I mean, there were requirements for her to even become a citizen to get into this country. They required her to take vaccines and immunizations. And she took them a lot, it being in France. Which is fine. I got nothing against people that want to take it. It's your choice. If you want to take it, it's completely your choice. I got no problem with that. But on the same hand, if I don't want to, that shouldn't be held against me either. We're seeing all of that, choice and decision go away. All over the world. I mean, hell, just these last couple of weeks have been pretty exciting. I promise I won't start bashing on Trump this morning. I see them as all the same. Yeah, that was the last time I took some Smith was back during when I was in elementary school. Things have just gotten completely crazy, and they ain't going to be getting no better for a while, I say. Yeah, 40 plus years ago, exactly. I know most of y'all in here are keeping up with the news and what's going on, so y'all are aware. Y'all know. I'm preaching to the choir in here. Well, they're going to be pushing them on everybody. I've already heard for the last couple of weeks that, hey, NCK, I've been here in the last couple of weeks, you know, we've all heard there's new strains coming in and going to be this and going to be that, whatever. Yeah, that's the problem that I have with any shot, Smith. We don't know what's in them. These people ain't going to tell you the truth as to what's in it. You go and get a tetanus shot and you don't know if there's 30 other things in there. Hey, Sergeant. Yeah, everything's going good here. We're just kind of hanging out, waiting on the rain this afternoon. The garden needs it. As y'all can see, I'm in the city, not at the farm right now, but I'll be heading out there in a little while. I'm pretty lucky. Me and Ann are both pretty lucky. I mean, we're 50 plus, and neither one of us really has any health issues or has to take any medication, so about all I use is Advil. Which I might try some of the wild lettuce this year and see if I can make my own pain meds, because that ibuprofen ain't worth a damn either. Yeah, I was looking at the radar earlier, Deb. It looks like it's coming up through that way. And they're saying, you know, bad weather all through northeast Texas and Oklahoma, so the way the weather's been lately, it's no telling. Crazy, crazy. But I got kind of a new theory on the impending World War III. Hey, Jennifer. Teresa, good morning. If y'all care to hear the ramblings of a madman, and not to make it all biblical, but you know, the wars and rumors of wars, I don't see how most people don't understand that World War III hasn't already started. Sure, it's not the big superpowers at this point, but I mean, really, all of the big superpowers are running their little proxy wars all over the world. I mean, what all do we got going on? Ukraine and Europe. I mean, that pits Europe against Russia, basically. You got Israel in the Middle East, which is pretty much going to involve Israel and that whole area over there when it kicks off, not just Iran. Well, we got the latest India-Pakistani thing going on. And of course, we have the Southeast Pacific over there with China versus everybody else. You know, you got the big superpowers that are backing all these proxies. I mean, us with Ukraine and Israel, and it looks like we're going to be standing on the side of India. Of course, you know, we're on Taiwan side and the Philippine side and all those other guys over their side. And you got Russia and China, Iran, you know, backing the other side. So it's, you know, it's World War III proxies all over the world. throw in the trade wars that are ever so recent. Everybody is talking about what's going to be happening in the next month to 2 months. The big CEO meeting with Trump, telling everybody to get ready. The shelves are going to be empty. You know, and I really don't think the general population understand how deep what would basically be considered our enemies are embedded in the U.S. economy. Not just financially, but materialistically. I mean, the things that we are going to be doing without in the near future is going to surprise a lot of people. Because China really doesn't control everything, even though they have a very large portion or control a very large percentage of goods around the world. China also controls the raw materials to make those goods. It is going to affect so much stuff. I'm actually going tomorrow myself to buy as many as I can get oil filters and oil for oil changes in my vehicle. You know, the simplest things that we take for granted every day are going to get rather difficult to get, especially if a war is declared. I mean, I don't know how the powers that be of the United States think that we could actually pull it off, because manufacturing here is pretty much nothing. The everyday stuff that people use, I mean, even if it is manufactured here, a lot of those goods come from overseas, people that we would consider our enemies if they're declared. They don't, you know, that may be the ultimate goal, and the people in charge know it, and are going to take advantage of it. Like I said, oil and filters and tires and car parts and, you know, chemicals that are used to make stuff. I think there's only 2 or 3 places in the world that make the chemicals to actually manufacture PVC pipe. And we use a lot of PVC pipe here in the U.S. I know that was a problem back during COVID. And I think a couple of those manufacturers are located in China. I don't think we make those chemicals here in the U.S. All of the mainstream and everybody is all, you know, everybody's talking about the things that are happening now on the mainstream media. And you know, if it's made it to the mainstream media and they're talking about it, we're way past the fact of it already happening. I mean, now, you know, people like JP Morgan are coming out telling you that, you know, 90% chance of recession. If they're talking about recession, you better be planning on everything going into a depression. I mean, the mainstream media is telling people about the layoffs and the joblessness and the inflation and the tariffs and the taxes, and it's all proof in the pudding. We all paid our taxes here a couple of weeks ago, mid-April. It's all tax day for all of us, and we all paid. And now here in the next couple of months, you're going to get these tariffs applied to you too. And Amazon done got in trouble with Trump over having the tariff price added to their little page there, showing you what you were going to pay, what me and you were going to pay in the additional tariffs. Your little $5 and $10 and $15 items, going to $30, $40, $50. It's all the domino effect, and those dominoes have began to fall, people. I mean, they're all coming out saying right now that if all of the tariffs were removed right now, today, that, we would still feel it for a couple of months just because of the shutdowns that have already occurred. With a large majority of the population living paycheck to paycheck, these dreams and aspirations of manufacturing and money and jobs and all this stuff coming back around to us is going to take years and years to happen. That's what I don't get. People are, they're living paycheck to paycheck now on the cheap imported prices of stuff that's already existing. And there's no way, I mean, somebody please explain it to me again. Maybe it's just me and the way that I'm thinking here, but you can take whatever you want to take and use easy numbers to figure it out. I mean, the phone that most of us are sitting here watching this on. I mean, they're manufacturing these phones over in China for probably, $50 to $100 and selling them over here for, $500 to $1,000. And you're going to manufacture that phone over here. Well, over there, manufacturing that phone where it cost them, $50 or $100, they're paying these people, $10 or $15 a day in equivalency. All right. Now, how are you going to manufacture that phone over here when you're going to have to pay somebody, let's go on the high side, $20, $30, $40 an hour to work at a technical position manufacturing electronics? How expensive is that phone going to be? How are people going to be able to afford it? I mean, your $1,000 phone is now going to be $4,000, $5,000. That goes for everything, because everything that we're buying manufactured over there is done with cheap labor. Why do you think it was all moved over there in the beginning? All of our manufacturing left here and went there because of cheap labor. You're never going to get that kind of labor price here in the Western world. It's just not going to happen. Which drives the price of everything up. I mean, that's just logic to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. In my younger life, I was involved in manufacturing. When I lived and worked up around the Dallas area, that's what we did. I mean, we contracted for manufacturing, whether that was military or peanut butter or caulk or Mars or Dow or whoever. We supplied the stuff that built those manufacturing facilities. And it takes years to build these manufacturing facilities. I talked about this the other day in my live. By the time that you get a manufacturing facility made to make a TV here in the United States, that 3 to 5 years, the technology has already changed. So all of the tooling and machining and casting of that company now needs to be changed at the end of that 3 or 4 year process of even getting it built. I think everything that is happening is it's a simple, basic repeat of history. World War II. The financials weren't good. The world wasn't good. the world wasn't getting along, what'd they do? They took us to war, they destroyed everything, they killed a bunch of people, had a new world order reset, America came out on top. You know, we've been on top now the last 80, 90 years. I think the powers that be got a change in mind. I think the same powers that run everything else are running China, and that's going to be their new frontier. They've prepared for that for the last 50 to 60 years by moving all of that manufacturing over there. They got the people over there, the slave labor over there. They got the people complying. I don't know, guys. I take it one day at a time, just like y'all. It's too much information to disseminate. We all hear the rumors and the conspiracy theories and, you know, this and that and what to believe. And y'all are seeing it. Deb said it a while ago. The prices at the grocery stores are just insane. What are we going to do when it's not the price anymore that bothers you when you go to the grocery store? It's the simple fact that you can't get that product. I said it a long time ago in videos. I don't think it's going to become a pricing issue. It's going to be availability. The powers that be for the last 100 years have made this world a global society. We all kind of dependent on each other. And now if you got somebody coming in here upsetting that routine, it is going to make the situation more difficult. There's no way around that. If, and I say a big if here, if everything that they were doing was for the good of the people, the process and pain that it's going to take to get to where we need to be is going to be very difficult. And like I said, people living paycheck to paycheck now. How hard is it going to be over those next 3, 5, 10 years that it may take? And then, of course, you know, you've got the show must go on. They're already talking about the midterms coming up and how low Trump's approval rating is and the high prices and the joblessness. And it's the same story that they're going to feed us over and over again. Go vote harder at the midterms. You know, the Democrats will put everything back like it was. You've only got 4 years of Trump trying to do it. I know. Everybody out there, oh, well, JD's going to take over and continue on, or JD's going to run and step down and let Trump take over again. That's all wishful thinking, people, for, 4 or 5 years down the road. What's going to happen in the next 4 or 5 years? When 70% of the population is waiting on their check for Friday so that they can pay their electric bill and go grocery shopping. If 1% of all of the conspiracy theory crap being said and, half of it pretty much being proven was true, we're in for some crazy times, people. And we still ain't got no answers on none of it. I mean, again, I just think, logically, guys, what's happening day to day in our life. I mean, it's all great to be wishful and hopeful and pray and all of that kind of stuff, but we live in the reality of it. I don't care if it's been 2 months or 2 years. Has anybody's life improved? Have the prices gone down? Have the jobs gone up? Has the income increased? Did we get an audit of Fort Knox? Is the debt going any lower? Is healthcare getting any better? Is the food supply getting any purer? Oh man, what an uproar, you know. The Kennedy guy gonna remove the food dye from the food. Oh man, everybody's so excited, all great, blah, 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 blah. How about you just make the choice not to buy that food that has that crap in it? You know, is the gas getting any cheaper? What happened to all that drill, baby, drill? You don't think that the rest of the world doesn't see that? You know, OPEC controlling the oil, and pretty much basically when oil drops below $60 a barrel, we ain't drilling here in the U.S. I know people. I got people that live at my RV park that work in the oil field. I have friends that, you know, work in the oil field that are laid off right now. Oil gets to 60 bucks a gallon, and a barrel, and it shuts off over here. They can buy it and refine it and haul it and do their thing a lot cheaper. And of course, you know, with what's going on in Canada, we're going to be losing a lot of either losing the oil, or it's going to be expensive getting it from Canada. I've seen gas everywhere from $2.99 to, yeah, you know, $3.75, close to $4 a gallon. Just depends on where you buy it. But as a rule of thumb, in general, prices aren't going down. And they're all telling us it's only going to go up. Tariffs are only going to make it worse, both supply chain issue and pricing. Exactly, NCK. We're all living it day by day. Me and Ann was just talking the other night, you know, about, I think probably what we're fixing to see is hyperinflation. You have all of these people talking about gold and silver and, you know, Bitcoin and all of these things of value, what they call value. And, you know, oh, gold's going to go to 10,000 an ounce, and you're going to see 1,000 an ounce silver. Well, how many ounces of gold and silver do you have right now? I mean, unless you got tons of money and they put back, you know, hundreds and thousands of ounces, that price raise in gold isn't going to help you one bit. I mean, even if you do got 2 or 3 ounces of gold, I mean, you paid $2,000 an ounce probably for it, and it goes up to 10. So, you know, even if you made $8,000 an ounce on your gold, you only had 2 or 3 ounces, you got what, $16,000, $20,000? How long is that going to last in an economy that's $10,000 an ounce gold? Because when gold goes to $10,000 an ounce, everything else is going to go up too. That's hyperinflation. The gold didn't become worth more. It's still an ounce of gold. It's just that your money became worth less. The only thing good about gold and silver is it is always going to be tradable on the black market. And there is going to be a hell of a black market. Supply and demand. How about the whole blackout issue? 60 million people without power. And they came out with excuse after excuse after excuse. Oh, it was cyber. Oh, it was the weather. Oh, it was sabotage. Oh, we don't know. 60 million people without power in the blink of an eye. That's how fast it can go off, folks. Sorry if I'm missing y'all guys in the chat. There's a glare on my phone, so I really can't see it. I just wanted to get on this morning and chit chat. You didn't see NCK, all the blackout over in Europe? It was pretty much the whole country of Spain and Portugal. Youper in here? Hey, Youper. What was it? Spain, Portugal, parts of France. They all went out. They took. I think they got a big part of it back on now, but, you know, they're not telling anybody why or how or... There's about 60 million people in the dark. Which we don't see much on it over here, but, you know, it looked like it actually went pretty well for it to be that big of an outage, which I tend to wonder myself if it had something to do with CERN. Hello, Kim. I think it's going to turn out to be an all right day. We're expecting rain at the farm, and the garden needs it, so... I saw a little piece of a video yesterday about old Canadian prepper wanting to get out of Canada now. I've actually had a couple of Canadians tell me they were looking at moving. Me and Ann have that discussion all the time, you know, where to go, what to do. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be any better place to be than right here. I ain't seen any power outages yet, but we do got some storms rolling through, so there could be. Expect anything, guys. Oh yeah, Youper, it's more than half. If I was guessing, probably, you know, and again, that, you know, what you say in the dark is a scale of what's going on, because there are far darker areas. But I'd say 70 or 80% at least. Most people are just going along to get along, man. I mean, really. It's just like my doctor visit yesterday. How many people are going to stand up and say no? You know, when they're trying to force that stuff on you. And they're going to be forcing all kinds of stuff on us. There ain't a lot of people out there that have the ability to stand up and say no because they depend on the system. Whether it be going to the digital ID or the CBDC or the digital currency or whatever, most people are going to bend to those rules because they need to. What is the mass population going to do when they can't go to the grocery store and buy food? There are so few people that can sustain themselves. What's going on, Joe? Take the medication away from people. Take clean water away from people. Go back and look through history. It's not the bullets that kill most people. It's disease. All of the preppers want to stock up with 5 million rounds of ammunition. They are. History tells us it ain't the bullets that killed everybody. You take clean water away from the American population and we're going to be in trouble. All of that infrastructure and supply chain, our enemies are aware of that. The bad thing is that our system, our society has become dependent on our enemies. I said it the other day, just, walk around and look around at the things that you use daily. Look at the shoes on your feet, your socks, your pants, your shirt, the coffee cup you're drinking out of this morning. Look at all those things and see where they come from. I think you'll begin to notice that they're not on the list of friendlies to us. Medication and medical supplies being a real big one. Hey, Tony. It is not going to be a fun ride over the next few months, at least. I've heard everything from a couple of weeks to a couple of months. I think within a month, we're definitely going to start seeing and feeling some of the effects of, what's taking place right now. And for most people, it's all good, Netflix is still on. They can still order a pizza. You got the NFL coming up and, all this other distraction stuff. I definitely think we're heading for crazy times, guys, crazy times. That is not their intent to get it over with. The enemy knows. And you can call that enemy whoever you want. The more pain and suffering and the doing without and the breaking of your morale that they do, the easier it is for them to take over. And they're doing a pretty good job. Like I said, they got probably 70 or 80% taken care of already. And that ain't just here in the U.S. That's worldwide, guys. I mean, think about what's going on in the rest of the world. Look at our dear friend, neighbor, closest partner, Canada up there. I mean, look at the guy that they just elected. They all thought Justin Trudeau was bad, just like we thought Biden was bad. And look at the guy that took over. I mean, he ain't no little player in the field. This guy's big WEF World Bank guy. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter if you call it voter fraud or not. It is what it is, and look what y'all got. It's just like us here. I mean, look how much they screamed over Biden for years and years and years, and what happened? Hell, the guy that they did it to is in charge now, and what has happened? I've said it before on all my videos. What has happened to any of these people? Anything that is going on right now and today and that's happened over the last 10 years, who has been held accountable? Name me one person. And you can go back a long time. Further than probably most of us alive here in this chat room. Most of us probably ain't going to go back further than Reagan, but, you know. Even then, they were arming and supplying our enemies today with weapons. Go back to the Iran-Contras and see who all was involved. See what names come up that, you know, are still around or were around, that did a lot of bad things to our country, supposedly. They got the blame for it anyway. Just go on down the line there. We all know about the Clintons. We all know about the Bushes. We all know about Obama, Biden, Trump. Go down the list. The last, what, 40 years? It's all been going on a long time. What good did Carter do us, Art? Yeah, go on back further than that. I'm telling you, it's at least 100 years, over 100 years now. 1913 and the Federal Reserve, guys, it changed for the world. Actors and puppets, all of them. There are bigger powers at play that we don't see. Pretty much, NCK. There were probably a few years there after the kickoff that it was all right, but it didn't take long for it to get corrupted. Yeah, you can go back even further than that with the British over there and the king. Of course, you know, you can go down that conspiracy theory rabbit hole too with the king and the British and the empire, and hell, it wasn't just a month ago that we were talking about becoming a member of the king's whatever over there. The powers that be have been goings and runnings for 1,000 years. Same stuff still going on. Control. Oh, it is a world stage. That's why the show must go on. They're getting ready for something to happen. Again, I think it's all about control. I know a lot of people like to go down that population reduction rabbit hole, but remember, the more of us they got, the more slaves they got. But AI and robotics coming in is changing that. Stay safe, Stans. Thanks for stopping by. I think that's probably how they're going to get by with a lot of the manufacturing that they're supposed to bring back to the U.S. is going to be robotics. It's the only way you can manufacture that stuff cheaply, which isn't going to supply a lot of jobs for people here in the U.S. And I can say without doubt, 100% assurity, you know, what they show us and tell us about AI and robotics and technology is far from the truth. They have technology and, you know, whatever you want to call it, AI, robotics, energy, all of those things, they are far more advanced than what they lead on to the public. Let me see who all's in the chat here. What I hate about this damn phone is it don't leave the chat up there where you can see it. Well, I don't even think I went to chat. Stay safe, Hubert. A shot. There is no telling what they got in store for us. We think it's just crazy now. Just wait. Oh yeah, without a doubt, Jennifer. I would say they're probably at least 50 years, and probably a lot of cases 100 years far more advanced. And I just don't see a lot of good coming out of anything that they're doing to help the people. I mean, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's been that way a long time. It's probably not going to change. What's going on, Wendy? Yeah, Sergeant, word is here. You got to make the best of it. Apply that noodle up there. It's for more than holding your ears apart. Y'all wondering how Shuggy you're doing? Prepare yourself. I'll show you what we're dealing with here on our little doggie's injury. It's actually looking a lot better. Hey, Jan. Who was that just came in? Mrs. Metal, good morning. Yeah, it's as bad as that looks, man. It's really looking a lot better. It is starting to heal up. Well, Tony, I ran over her. Hey, Roxanne. She got up underneath my pickup, and I didn't know she was under my pickup, and she didn't make it out in time, so she got ran over. But she's coming along, no broken bones. It's just a big skin open wound, which is hell to deal with. It's pretty much the same thing as a burn, Smith. I mean, she lost all that flesh. It was a pretty good size open wound, but you can see where the skin's flesh and everything has grown back probably a half an inch over the last couple of weeks. So lots of medicine and wound care. Hey, James. Yeah, she's a pretty good one, Smith. She's farm dog. It really sucked because they rarely get around my vehicles. They know. I thought they knew to stay away from them. Yeah, I can't read it all, Joe. I'm on my phone, so I see very little. Thanks for stopping in, Jan. Where y'all headed off to? Get the chickens moved and everything? I was watching your video earlier. Feeding groceries. I guess feeding groceries are the same thing, just depends on who you're giving it to. Well, it's far enough back there, NCK, and to be honest, she's quite overweight. So for the moment, she can't reach it. APLS. She's a little red healer, and when this happened, she went into the vet weighing 77 pounds. And according to the vet, for her size, she should weigh about 27 to 30 pounds. So she's a bit heavy, and she's been on a diet, and she's lost about 7 pounds since this happened. So thanks for stopping by, Kim. Yeah, no need to be sorry. We're trying to take care of her. Accidents happen. Well, thanks, Roxanne. It is a spot I do enjoy out here in the city. We got a couple of them here in the backyard. Gotta watch the birds. They like to come in every now and then and try and peck off the koi, so it is a nice little relaxing feature to have in the backyard. Well, the girls went swimming yesterday. They were in the pool. No, Roxanne, this one was actually here when we bought the house. I've built one out at our ranch house. Of course, it ain't finished, but I got the hole and the liner and the fish and the water in it, but still kind of working on the plants and the rocks and all that other kind of stuff. Being here in Texas, we don't have a lot of water, so it's getting about time. The girls are probably going to live in it all summer. They went swimming yesterday and told me it was still a little chilly, so I reached over there and tried to turn on the heater, and the heater didn't come on, so I guess that's going to cost money to get the heater fixed. Oh, you can always dig a hole, Roxanne. It might take some equipment, but if you're living on a mountain, that means you got rocks, and it don't take much. That one's only about 2 foot deep. Even if you're up north and they freeze over, the koi will make it, so you ain't got to worry about the pond freezing as long as it don't freeze solid. and getting warm enough up there. Y'all are starting to garden up north. You better get Metal out in that garden, Mrs. Metal. Your water is limited. Get your rain catch going on. It's just another way you can store some water. Well, hell, if you got well water, you got plenty of water. Frost last night again. Oh, Joe and his name? Yeah. Your wells run dry? Ooh, that ain't good. I'm ready to get back out to the farm and see the garden. I planted quite a bit last week and we ain't had much rain, so I'm hoping to get some up there today and most of it will sprout back up. I still ain't got it all in. I don't know, NCK. It's kind of old. I'm assuming it's probably one of the computer boards. That's what was wrong with it last time. Electronics. And guess where them computer boards come from? So I'm hoping that, it's like I said, it's an older unit. That pool's been here 15 years at least, so I'm hoping parts are still even available. The new pool heater's about $8 grand. He's up there around you, Mrs. Metal, I think. You going live this morning, Mrs. Metal? Five inches, yeah, that's quite a bit. Well, is anybody live right now? Because I got a couple of errands to go run, and if anybody's live, we can just send everybody over there. Pull a room raid here to remember North. Not that you know. What's going on, Sam? Oh, we were just chit-chatting, and hell, I've about run out of stuff to talk about. I got my rant over this morning, I guess, with the doctor. Thanks for stopping by, Art. Y'all stay safe up there. I think the weather's headed y'all's direction. Yeah, it is what it is, Smith. If they're doing it to me, I know they're doing it to everybody else, so it really makes you wonder how many stand up and say no. The bad thing is they're probably gonna eventually force that onto everybody. Thanks, Tony. They can do that with everything. You know, if you don't comply and you don't get whatever it may be, the new digital ID or the CBDC or the shot or whatever it is, well, you can't go shopping. You can't buy gas. You can't have electricity. You can't get medical care. It's easy for them to do, and we've already seen them do it. They just did it a few years ago. Yeah. We know, we remember. But, you know, remember, a lot of them been over and complied. We're pretty much all digital already. That's true, Sam. I think the problem is that there's only a few of them. In the mass overall scheme of things, there is only a few. And they'll just starve you out or wait you out. You know, they got 70 or 80% going along with them. What's the other 20%? Those are just flies in the ointment they got to get rid of. Crazy times ahead, guys. Do what you can. Do the things, as they say. I don't know. We need to start having some kind of community news hour or something with everybody's eyes looking at what's going on. We need to have a community hour, news hour. Yeah, I don't know how the hell Joe did that, but the more eyes on and more of us reporting, telling each other what we seen or heard, or it's too much for one person to keep up with. What do they call it? Boots on the ground? Or that's what old prepper guy's calling it. That was a good little series he was doing. I wish he'd do more. Yeah, we need to do that. Have an hourly thing. Somebody needs to. Every day, same time. Man, I hate it. Them chats don't stay up long enough for me to read it. Well, I hope they are, Sam, but the problem is, what are they standing up to? The machine rolls on. The agenda moves forward. And you do despise emojis. This changing of the times, man, that's it. Hell, I've had that phone for years now, and I just found a button on it the other day about, I don't know what they are. I guess they're memes or something you can send along. What? Hang on. Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival does live news daily. Hudson Valley Prepping. Yeah, local is good. We got to keep up with it. Yeah, maybe that's what it is, Jennifer. Hell, I don't know. I'm technology illiterate since I retired. I use that thing or those things as little as possible. Hell, Trinidad de Agua is around everywhere, and gun bans are around everywhere. I think they got 5 or 6 on the agenda here in Texas this year. Is he live now? I don't even know what time it is. If somebody's live now, drop their link. Yeah, well, I won't get into the discussion of police and authority and tyranny this morning, Roxanne. (9:32) Central. Well, it was kind of early. I didn't know who was going live or going to be live. He's live right now. If they're dry live right now, drop their link. Well, that's what they are, Jennifer. It ain't going to be the lawmakers that come out here and enforce those laws on you. They're going to send somebody else. We all know who they're going to send. Oh, 9:33 Central Time now. Yeah, well, I better get off of here. I got lots to do before I head out to the farm, but I appreciate y'all stopping in for the chit chat. I'll have to check out Hudson Valley. Thanks for stopping in, Wendy. Everybody else. And that was way longer than I was anticipating, but I like chit-chatting with y'all. Hey, Steph. Thanks, Mrs. Metal. Thanks for stopping in, Shot. Teresa. Y'all all have a good day. Sergeant. Y'all stay safe out there, guys. Take care.